All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Crypto Wolf back again, and we're just doing a little bit of a chart update, seeing what's going on, hang out for a little bit, see what's going on with you guys, what you've been up to. Maybe just sit, chop it, chill, talk a little bit. But we're gonna look at the charts. So where the hell am I here? Real quick quote of the day: falling down is not a failure. Failure comes when you stay where you have fallen. And seeing that the charts have fallen a little bit here, you know, everybody's wondering what's the case. Are we at the bottom? Are we going to be bouncing back up? So we're going to take a look at that, see what is likely to happen from here. And that was Socrates, by the way. You know, very nice guy to read if you haven't gotten around to it yet. But here we are over here on the Ethereum. Tell you what, we'll skip up to the Bitcoin. I got a little bit of a long on Ethereum going right now. I don't know, we may be hitting the top of it, or at least like a temporary short-term top, but we'll get to that in a minute here. So you can see we did have, you know, that nice big pump where we kind of consolidated off the top, had a little Bart Simpson head going on right there. And then all day today it came raining back down. And now it looks like maybe we're, you know, rounding this bottom out a little bit. So let's figure out, where's it going to go? Well, the first thing, and again, I'm over here on the 12 minutes, so, you know, lower time frame, but let's take a look, you know, just for the immediate what's happening right now. So first thing, obviously, money flow is coming back up over here on the short term. We do have this stupid big split going on the RSI, so, you know, that kind of explains why we're not really just shooting back up for the stars over here. You know, instead of dancing with the stars, we're over here just kind of slugging it out in the mud. We'll see if we can break this previous little high right here. Maybe. You know, we've been sitting here fighting it out, keeping with the green candles. So it's possible. I mean, it could just keep chugging. But one thing that makes me think that might happen, I just said that a whole lot of times, is we had, you know, this bullish divergence going on right here. You know, we're coming down, price coming down, momentum waves coming up. This guy, I hesitate to even call that divergence right there on the VWAP. I guess technically it would be, because you're going from one low to the next low. Super stretched out. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. We did have, you know, despite is pretty much a double bottom at this point, which in and of itself can be a good sign of, you know, reversal or hitting the bottom, what have you. And of course, the momentum waves were still continuing to the upside right there, along with that money flow coming up, still going as we speak. You know, both RSIs are pointed up. You know, the split's kind of just holding us back. So at this point, I want to see that line right there get crossed. If we cross that line right there, hopefully maybe see a little bit more volume as well, then I'll feel a little bit happier on this trade that we got going right here. Let's hide that again for a moment. And just, you know, touching on the rest of the little details here. We got VWAP still above, and it's still holding out on the upper side. You know, we just keep going sideways, keep stretching this little uptrend out. Just doesn't want to let go. You know, we do have some nice little like upward I don't know, trendiness going on the VWAP as well. Now remember, that's not going to last forever, so, you know, don't hold too tightly onto that one. You know, momentum waves still generally heading up. So let's bounce up here to the 1 hour. Let's see what's going on over here on the 1 hour. Going to give us a better idea of where we are heading. And we look down here, you know, RSI has been solo riding throughout this whole day, really. Even through this consolidation, it's been one single strong line, which, you know, gave us some nice curvature as we rolled over the top. It would be nice to see that continue as we roll the bottom. but that's just kind of wishful thinking. Looking over here at the money flow, you know, we dipped down, coming back. We're not quite high enough to go on and say that, yeah, we're going to continue up. You know, it's a little early. We could still, like we've been getting, you know, with these little wavy money flows like that. So still paying attention to that. But remember, as it's going up, price generally goes up. It's just a matter of how far is it going to go. Now, the VWAP over here on the 1 hour, still looking pretty good. I got to say, you know, not looking too shabby at all. You know, had that little pullback, but stayed above. You know, RSI still pointing up. So that is pretty promising. Momentum wave still right here at the 50 right now. So plenty of room for that to continue up. So there's a solid chance that, you know, at least coming like up to here, you know, see this little moving average, you know, potentially, spiking up to that, meeting that wherever it might be. Although this is probably going to start dipping down here before too long, you know, taking that big dip right there. But I would like to see this continue up. You know, if this ends up just taking a dip, I'd still be looking for the bounce a little bit, depending on what the money flow is doing. But if we don't end up getting very much height out of the VWAP, yeah, you know, things might not be looking so great. Let's jump over to the 4 hour, see what's going on over here. You know, bring in the wider picture here, see what's going on. You know, almost came down to that fib level, pretty darn close. You know, it's pulled up short right there a little bit, but we do have the spider line. And the thing that makes me want to even mention that is that money flow still pretty low. It is up a little higher. We'll see what happens. We still got 14 on the bearish side, but that is a decrease from the 20. Yeah, jury's out on that one. RSI, you know, still generally kind of low. Even if you just took the average, it'd still be kind of pointing down, you know, despite that big hump right there. Now VWAP has turned back and it's pointing to the upside, and you know, on the higher time frames, the VWAP even just moving in an upward direction is generally price moving upward. But we shall see here. We did have, you know, bullish divergence back here. This guy kind of broke that trend right there with the lower low on the VWAP. Now, if this momentum wave turns back from here, that would equate to some bullish divergence on the momentum waves, which would be a pretty nice thing. You know, I imagine if that happens, you'll probably be hearing about it on other channels that do Market Cipher, because that's going to be a big one. Getting bullish divergence on the 4 hour is not to be taken lightly. I mean, shoot, just on the VWAP one right there gave us that whole little pump to the upside there. But, you know, money flow not looking good. Still generally aiming down. And if you look at previous money flows over here on the 4 hour, you know, we tend to get bigger ones. Yeah, this big one, this guy stretched out for a while, that guy stretched out for a while. This one only really poked back up for a minute, and we're already coming back down. Now, it could be that we're just getting into this choppy area where we start getting shorter ones. But I'm not necessarily going to put all my eggs in that basket. And even if it did, it's not really a good thing when you get that choppy money flow. I mean, who knows? It could mean that, you know, we're just going to, you know, bang it out until we get to that trend line right there. And that, you know, the choppiness is kind of signaling the end of this larger trend. You know, this big downtrend right here could be the case. like if we do start seeing just a ugly choppy money flow, I'm probably going to be looking at that. You know, the first step at that point will be that spider line, and then probably this trend line. I don't even remember where that's coming from. Oh, okay, so connecting over there on the last big low. You know, at that point, I'd be looking for a reversal. You know, if we hit off this trend line and start coming back up, make it through that first spider line. Long position at that point. Did it just freeze out? Okay, in case that got cut out, I don't know, the computer freaking brain farted. You know, if we do end up coming down, if that we get that choppy money flow and we come down, hit this spider line and continue down, I'm going to be looking for like a macro reversal around this trend line. And if it does begin to do that, you know, probably try to trade it off of that regardless. But then if we also push through the spider line on the way back up, you know, if we come down and hit that and come off of that and still continue up, that's going to be an absolutely great long-term position right there. But we're still a little ways away from that, I imagine. You know, for all we know, we could be looking at another one of these situations right there. You know, or not, you never know. But, you know, before everybody goes looking at it and thinking, this is the end, this is the bottom, we're good, we're turning back up, we're looking bullish. I mean, up here on these higher time frames, no, not really. We're really not. I mean, look, we have, you know, each one of these little waves got bigger and bigger on the way down. You know, it's very similar to this at the beginning. But over here was the beginning of an uptrend. Clearly that was not the case right there. If anything, it's almost looking similar to that. But again, doesn't matter. Things are never going to do the exact same thing twice. But it's just nice to look back and say, okay, you know, you get so zoomed in on what's going on at the moment, you tend to just get caught up in your own little like biases. So it's good to look back at things that look similar just to see, okay, well, what happened last time things were kind of looking like this. And it's been a little while since things even did look like that. I'm looking for, you know, tight red RSIs coming down. Kind of had it right there a little bit, except for that split in the middle. Here we go. You know, different shape, different situation, but, you know, looking down here, we had the tight RSI over the top, tight RSI coming down. You know, obviously we had that giant initial dip on that one, which we did not have now. But you can see when we get these tight RSIs down toward the bottom and we're on the red side of it and just continues downward for a little bit before we finally, you know, flip back into the green. Again here, flip back into the green. Still has some trouble there though, has some weakness to the upside. Come back to the present. You know, just getting into the red, hanging out down low. Nothing on the RSI really signaling which way we're going to break just yet. If anything, continuing with what it's doing. Jump up to the daily just to see how has the landscape up here changed. Still, again, generally trending down. You know, it's starting to increase with the split a little bit more. But, you know, momentum wave continuing down, money flow coming back down into the red. So it wasn't very much of a you know, upside money flow right there. I mean, shit, if anything, you know, we just got this little bit, you know, right there as it came up, but, you know, most of it has been spent to the downside. So that's not looking great. That's actually kind of what I'm talking about with these short, choppy little money flows, which basically just says that, you know, the money's not there at the moment. And man, it's close. It's hard to tell. It almost looks like we got a new low on the momentum though. Yeah. Yep, got a new low on the momentum wave. So, you know, that's still trending downward. Keeping in with that, you know, VWAP still pointed down. You know, rejected on its little upward move right there. So heading back to the downside. So again, you know, I'm skeptical to say that this would be, you know, the bottom of this downtrend. Shit, not even skeptical. I'm flat out saying it's not. That's my call right there. But in the short term, you know, we could see a little upward relief for a little bit. You know, even over here on the 15, you know, generally speaking, yeah, it seems like it's coming up. But we shall see. It's still low. It's still curling back down. You know, VWAP getting ready to cross back to the downside. Got our little triangle with no green dot. Again, even more, look at it, the split just continues to increase on the RSI. I'm half tempted just to cut this trade already. Yeah, it's starting to turn down. Hold on. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm not trying to let that one ride out for a while. It's starting to look like it's going to turn back. But matter of fact, actually, that wasn't a Bitcoin, it was Ethereum, but same thing. Matter of fact, money flow looking even worse. But that's basically what's going on with the charts right now, where we're heading, what it's looking like. I will say this, though, Avalanche was looking pretty strong. You know, despite it did pull down with everybody else, but it has had, you know, a stronger, you know, temporary bottom area. Money flow came significantly higher up than everybody else. Still had the split going on the way up. We'll see if, you know, this VWAP can maybe just poke down for a little bit and then come back up. It depends. If the entire market just continues on dipping, I don't expect it to do much different. You know, maybe not quite as bad. Would be like a bullish case. But again, you know, coming up here on these higher time frames. Oh, that's a lower low on the left there, isn't it? Yes, it is. So not technically divergent right there. I mean, it's almost close enough that you might want to say a double bottom. And that's a pretty big difference on the momentum wave there. But, you know, money flow still decreasing. This could just be a hump and maybe it continues. Early to tell. You know, DBSI looking like it wants to turn around a little bit. That was really the only one that jumped out at me that was looking any better than the rest. We got sand actually kind of trending up in the VWAP right now. It's not looking terrible. Got some decently high numbers on the DBSI. I think, what was it, this one? And Gala was looking decent. Now it's looking like it's starting to taper off a little. Yeah, looks like everybody's kind of making the turn for the moment. So hopefully, you know, we put in a higher low and potentially go, you know, maybe a little bit sideways through tonight. But it'd be nice to have an uptrend kind of day tomorrow. Might be a little bit soon. Yeah, I'd say, you know, if the money flows all keep coming back up, I'd say we could have a little bit more to the upside, maybe something like, kind of like this. Tomorrow, that's probably my better guess. Let's see. Similar. Bart Simpson top. What we got here? Yep. There's your Bart Simpson pattern. Yeah, some of these had some decent little relief scalps in there. Let's see what's going on. We're crossing up on the... So now this is interesting. So we made that video about setting the alerts, watching for, you know, crosses to the upside, specifically is what we did. So this guy, we got it set on the 12-minute, if it's going to show me. Maybe it doesn't want to show me. Okay, it's trading views being a little weird right now, but basically we set up an alert to, you know, show anytime we're crossing on the VWAP to the upside. And it looks like I might have closed that a little early. Let's see. Even though we did cross down, there's a quick little bounce back up. I'm gonna be mad if it actually does something. Finally got a green dot. So the RSI still bugs me, but it, you know, it can continue. I've seen it, you know, do one of these before where it comes back a little bit and then starts to meet back up. But those ones are kind of hard to plan for. It just depends if, you know, some bullishness comes back into the market. Yeah, Bitcoin's still trying to slug it out. That still hasn't crossed to the downside yet. That's a pretty long stretch right there. Yeah, money flow coming back up. You know, the money flow could potentially, you know, outweigh that sketchiness on the RSI right there. But I imagine by the time this reaches up here toward the 100, if nothing else, we'll at least see some kind of little pullback right there. But moving on a little bit, just to check, because that's the chart. It's not really going to tell us anything different. There was some interesting stuff in the news today. One of them right here, Fort Worth is mining Bitcoin in City Hall. Mayor wants to transform region into a tech-friendly city. That would be awesome, particularly since I'm fairly close to that particular city, so that would be cool. You know, start getting some Bitcoin City stuff going on. That'd be a blast to go down and hang out, especially if they started doing like some conference or something like that. But mining report shows Bitcoin's electricity consumption decreased by 25%. So I guess all those people with the Bitcoin uses too much energy FUD are gonna have to take that one on the chin a little bit, which we all, you know, anybody who actually followed along with it knew was already in the works. Kraken becomes first global crypto exchange fully licensed by Abu Dhabi Global Markets. I don't even think I've ever used my Kraken account. Hash rate surges, reaching a lifetime high. Difficulty expected to jump next week. Kind of interesting. I'd be curious to see what's causing all of that. Oh, this was the other big one here. Fidelity's new 401k product lets workers add up to 20% in Bitcoin to their retirement plans. So that's a pretty big one. I mean, Fidelity is, absolutely a giant company in the financial industry. And just the fact that they are doing that just shows more adoption. A lot of these companies they're trying to figure out ways that they can get involved and get into Bitcoin and crypto without necessarily exposing themselves to, more of the risk. So they're definitely, doing these interesting little financial instruments, like when you get Goldman Sachs and them, offering, what is it? I don't think is it futures? I forget. We're basically offering, Bitcoin products to their customers. And I think I even heard that they were doing custodial services as well. So, and, of course, I mean, they want to hold on to stuff because if things go to shit, they'll be like, oh, sorry, we couldn't sell it in time for you, when in reality, they probably did sell it. But they're just not going to take the loss. Buenos Aires confirms it plans to allow citizens to pay taxes with crypto. And another one. Japanese car makers Toyota and Nissan enter the metaverse. Okay, so what? Yeah, Musk purchased Twitter. Everybody knows about that by now. Compass to sell 30 million in crypto mining equipment located in Russia. Wish I could buy some. Polygon. This one, I heard about this. I don't really know what's going on with it. U.S. charges Ethereum developers conspirators, allegedly helping North Korea evade sanctions using crypto. Sounded like, from what little I heard, that basically they went over there and they just taught them, about crypto, how to use it. And, since North Korea is just sanctioned all to hell, I mean, pretty much anything they do with the outside world is going to violate their sanctions unless it's done like directly with a government itself. So, good for them for at least teaching them to try. Now, I'm not defending North Korea. The place is an absolute shit show. And I'm actually fairly interested in the subject. So I've read a number of the books from the people that have escaped from North Korea. What's that one chick's name who's always on YouTube? Yeonmi Park. She's a great one to listen to. But at the same time, I mean, what do you expect them to do? I mean, they're not going to change. The sanctions aren't going to make them change. So at a certain point, all you're doing is hurting the people and you're helping them to starve. And I don't know, it's a messed up subject. It's like, I'm not necessarily saying, okay, well, we should stop and just make it easy on the government and all that stuff. But clearly it is not having the desired effect. And people are literally starving over there all the time. If you've ever seen that, they have like hidden body cam footage of people walking through the street, and you have like all the homeless people and all the homeless little kids that are like skinny as a friggin' rail with their stomachs all distended. I mean, that's a fucked up situation. Yeah, more metaverse stuff. This one I was kind of happy to see over here. Afghans use crypto to curb Taliban's influence on their financial well-being. That right there is like the quintessential story of what crypto was created for. To help people be able to have financial freedom without tyrants breathing down your frickin' neck. Yeah, that was kind of temporary. Australia to list Bitcoin ETF after 4 clearinghouse participants commit to meet stringent margin terms. Looks like might have another one. And the more of these Western countries that start doing the ETFs, I imagine it just gets closer and closer to it happening here. And we all know that's been a gigantic, almost urban legend at this point, is the situation with a US Bitcoin ETF. And most people always say at this point, whenever one of these ETFs gets approved and it starts, that the price goes down. Could be the case. Either way, I think in the long term, it's a bullish situation. In the short term, I mean, markets are all sentiment. Things are fickle. And if people think that it's always going to go down every time one of those things happens like that, in example ETF, then odds are it's probably going to continue to go down whenever that happens, because people just expect it. And what is the market but people? Digital ruble, much needed, Russia's central bank says won't delay testing. Yeah, it's kind of an old story at this point. And of course, we had the giant spike with Dogecoin. And at this point, I think everybody pretty much figured out that Dogecoin is like the Elon Musk meme coin. You know, if people are bullish on Elon, people will likely be bullish on Dogecoin. And I remember seeing one story where they were actually trying to do something with Dogecoin to give it some actual like use case. I honestly just really don't care just yet, because I don't know, to me it's always going to be a meme coin. And when people talk about speculative markets, that's pretty much the definition of it for me. You know, it can be fun, and don't get me wrong, I mean, you know, it's worth trading when it's doing stuff. As far as long-term holding, I'm still not convinced yet. Some looking better than others, but overall, it still seems like we're going to turn back. You know, money flow's still coming down. You know, we do have that bullish divergence going on. So I'd really like to see that play out more, but if the money flow keeps continuing to the downside, I don't think it's going to play out as nicely as we'd like it to. What was up with the S&P? Tanking like Tiananmen Square. Wait, that's not what I wanted. 7.5%. Money flow definitely heading down. Still kind of early to see if we got divergence on the momentum waves over here. You know, 4 hour, definitely not. Continued downtrend, choppy money flow. RSI is coming back together as it points to the downside. I imagine, unless there is a change in the, the overnight off hours trading, does seem like the S&P will continue to the downside. Silver coming back down. Did I? No, I didn't buy that. I forgot. I got some silver in my shopping cart on this one store. I guess it's a good thing I waited, because now it is cheaper. At least a couple bucks. Even though with the premiums, I mean, unless you're buying like a whole bunch, the premiums are still getting charged like 30 bucks an ounce, but it is what it is. Let's see. I guess real quick before we cut this, let's see what else is going on here. Gold, about the same. You know, money flow coming down, coming into the, flipping over to the green on the RSI, but what are we at? 1900 even, just about. US dollar currency index 102. To this day, I really don't even know what this one's supposed to say. Is it supposed to basically say that like the dollar is strong, it's going up? That sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. We got Nasdaq looking very much the same. What did this go down? Ooh, reaching a, we got a little pattern going here. 14. Look at this though. Nope. You know, starting to get this little falling wedge going on. Don't mind my scribbles. But you know what happens in a falling wedge. What else do we got? DJI. See, potentially, you know, we could almost draw that, but that's, that seems suspect as well. You know, money flow still in the green. Kind of a, you can almost call it like a higher low right here. You know, where this little dip is still higher than that little dip, so we're still kind of curving up. But if the entire market's gonna take a dump, it is not going to matter. I don't know what the hell that line's about. Let's see, what's China doing? Hang Seng curling back down to the downside. Interesting big ass splits over here on the RSIs. Could potentially be hitting a little bottom here. If so, high or low. But anything can happen over there. You never know, because especially with all the Shanghai stuff, good gosh. I mean, you'd think they're purposely trying to destroy their own country. But I shouldn't say that. I was going to say better than trying to destroy everybody else's, but tertiary effects is still kind of is. But man, look at that. So CSI 300 is basically like the like China's S&P type deal. Where's this going back from? We peaked end of February and just tanking. We got consumer price index. Oh, color me shocked. It's still skyrocketing. Core. Man, even worse than we were the last time I looked. I haven't looked at this since we were like back here. Continues to go up. Continues to make me pissed off every time I go to the damn grocery store. But, all right. I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, if anybody's still watching, let me know what you think of this idea. I hate doing the analysis and looking at the charts, and it's so dead quiet in here. So, you know, what would you think about doing, you know, live stream rather than pre-recorded? And B, what about just doing like, I don't like just doing some charts, some analysis with some music in the background, but I don't know, I hate doing the royalty free, no copyright music, because it's just kind of meh. You know, I'd rather be sitting here just kind of having like a little chart party with you guys and be playing some actual music and just take the hit on the copyright strike on the video. I mean, you'd have to deal with not many people are watching a day or two after the fact, because, you know, charts are, you know, short term right now, what's going on. But so I'm not too worried about people getting hit with ads, you know, days or more down the road. But let me know if that sounds like a good idea, something you'd like, where we'd literally just have ourselves a little chart party, sit here, do some analysis, sing along with some songs, act like a bunch of weirdos, have it, you know, going on in the chat, and have a good time. Because I notice nobody else is really doing that. You know, CryptoPhase does it a little bit sometimes, but usually like the same music, and it'd just be so much better if we could listen to like some regular popular music. So let me know what you think. Yeah, even take some live requests from the audience, whatever you want to do. There we go. Oh, we're making the turn. But all right, remember, keep being a badass. Remember, go watch the trading psychology videos. We got another one coming up here pretty soon, as well as continuing with the Pine script tutorials. And I think, oh, and another Market Cipher one coming here soon, but I've been waiting a little bit of time in between those because I know we've gotten, you know, some new viewers going back to, like, you know, the earlier videos that I did, even though those ones are still getting a significant amount of views. But, you know, there's only so much you can really talk about with the Market Cipher stuff. I mean, you can get into the weeds, like into a couple specific things, and I think I might do that, is just make little short videos just about little things that pop up in the course of the day, and, you know, charts and things like that. So that's probably the direction that that's going to take for now. But love y'all. Have a fantastic evening, day, morning, future, past, wherever you might be, somewhere in the multiverse. And I'll see you guys later.